The city of Navarra stretched endlessly, a forest of shining towers that reached far above the clouds. Neon lights flickered on glass walls, and the hum of flying vehicles echoed through the narrow skyways. Below, people hurried along elevated streets, their faces glowing with the reflections of screens and advertisements. High above the city, on the rooftop of one of the tallest buildings, a young engineer named Milo leaned over a railing, his eyes following the path of a small flying drone that zipped through the air. Milo loved the rooftops. They were quiet, almost peaceful, compared to the chaos below. Here, he could think, work, and watch the city stretch out like a living circuit of lights. He adjusted the drone's sensors, careful to keep it steady against the strong gusts of wind. The little machine buzzed like a tiny insect, darting and spinning in ways Milo loved. He had spent months building it, perfecting every line of code, every tiny rotor. As Milo focused on his work, a shadow moved across the rooftop. At first, he thought it was just another technician, but then he noticed the figure standing at the far edge, looking out at the city. She was a young pilot named Nina, and she had the kind of quiet confidence that drew people in without a word. Her suit was sleek and dark, and the small flying craft she carried seemed almost alive, humming softly as she set it down. Milo's curiosity got the better of him. "Hey," he called, waving. "Want to see how fast this can go?" Nina turned and smiled. "I could ask the same thing. That little drone of yours looks interesting." They approached each other carefully, both aware of the rooftop's edge. Milo explained how his drone worked, showing her the sensors and controls. Nina nodded, impressed. "Not bad," she said. "But can it dodge obstacles like this?" She tapped a button on her own device, and a small holographic course appeared in the air between them, glowing softly. Milo's eyes lit up. Challenge accepted. For the next hour, they guided their drones through the course, dodging imaginary towers, weaving through tight spaces, and racing side by side. Sometimes the drones nearly collided, but Milo and Nina laughed each time, adjusting their machines with quick, precise movements. It was thrilling, a game of skill and creativity, and neither wanted to stop. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with streaks of orange and purple, Milo paused to catch his breath. He looked at Nina, who was adjusting the wings on her craft. "You're good," he admitted. "I didn't think anyone could keep up with me." Nina laughed softly. "You're not so bad yourself. I like a challenge." They stood quietly for a moment, watching the city below them. Flying vehicles zipped between towers, lights reflecting off glass surfaces, and the distant hum of the city felt like a heartbeat. Milo realized that he had never seen Navarro like this, not really. With Nina here, the city seemed larger, more alive, full of possibilities. "Do you ever think about what's beyond the city?" Milo asked. Nina's eyes sparkled. "All the time. I want to fly higher, see places no one has seen. Maybe even explore the layers above the clouds." Milo nodded slowly. "Me too. I build drones to see farther, to understand more. Sometimes I feel like the city is just a small piece of something bigger." The wind picked up suddenly, and the drones hovered as if sensing it. Milo and Nina moved closer to the edge, feeling the gusts against their faces. There was a thrill in being up so high, a mixture of freedom and fear. It reminded them both why they loved the rooftops. This was a place where they could dream without limits. "I think we make a good team," Milo said finally. Nina smiled. "I think so too. Maybe we can try something bigger together one day." The sky darkened further, the neon lights of Navarro flickering on like stars in a city-made universe. Milo packed up his drone, but he didn't feel like leaving just yet. Nina watched him, and for the first time, Milo felt a connection with someone who understood his passion, someone who shared his dream of flying higher, seeing farther. As they finally stepped away from the edge and walked toward the elevator, the two looked back at the city. It was alive, challenging, beautiful and waiting for people like them to push its limits. In that quiet moment, both Milo and Nina knew that this was just the beginning of something extraordinary. Above the city, the rooftops held their secrets, their possibilities, and their adventures. And somewhere in the distance, a storm was forming, one that would test them both and show the world what humans could achieve when courage, curiosity, and passion came together. The next day, Navarro buzzed with its usual energy, but Milo couldn't focus. His thoughts kept drifting to the rooftop, to Nina, and to the thrill of flying their drones together. He spent the morning in his workshop, tinkering with his latest drone design, but each time he adjusted a rotor or reprogrammed a sensor, he imagined how much better it would perform with Nina by his side. By late afternoon, the sky darkened unexpectedly. Thick clouds rolled across the city, blocking the sun and casting shadows over the towers. A low rumble of thunder echoed through the streets. People hurried indoors, and flying vehicles returned to docking stations. Milo checked his instruments and realized the storm was coming fast. He made a quick decision. He had to get to the rooftop before the wind grew too strong. With his tools tucked in his backpack, he raced through the skyways, leaping across small gaps between buildings with practiced agility. The wind whipped around him, but he didn't care. Something about the storm made him feel alive, like the city itself was calling him. When he arrived, the rooftop was almost empty. Nina was already there, her drone resting on the edge as she adjusted its controls. She looked up as Milo approached, her eyes lighting up with recognition. "You made it," she said, her voice calm but full of excitement. "I wouldn't miss this," Milo replied. "The storm is perfect. We should test our drones in real conditions." Nina nodded. "It's dangerous, but I like a challenge." Together, they launched their drones into the gusting wind. The machines struggled at first, wobbling in the turbulence, but Milo and Nina quickly adjusted the controls. They guided the drones through loops, dives, and sudden turns, laughing as the little machines raced against each other and against the storm. The wind grew stronger, carrying sheets of rain across the rooftop. Milo and Nina ducked under a small overhang near the edge of the building, watching their drones fight the storm. Lightning flashed in the distance, illuminating the city below, and thunder followed with a deep, rolling roar. "This is incredible," Milo shouted over the wind. "I've never flown like this before." Nina's eyes sparkled. "Neither have I. The storm makes everything more alive. It's like the city itself is testing us." They spent hours battling the elements, guiding their drones through narrow gaps between antennas and over glowing neon signs. Every success felt like a victory, every near miss a lesson learned. By the time the storm began to calm, the two of them were soaked but exhilarated, hearts racing with excitement. As they packed up their drones, Milo noticed how comfortable he felt around Nina. He didn't feel nervous or unsure, only inspired. She had a calm confidence that balanced his own excitement, and together they made a perfect team. "You know," Nina said, brushing rain from her hair, "I think we could do something more than just racing drones. There's more to see above the city, if we're careful." Milo raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "The skyward gates," Nina explained. They're a series of paths high above the clouds. People say they're impossible to navigate, that no one has ever reached the top. But I think we could try together. Milo felt a surge of excitement. He had heard the rumors, whispered among engineers and pilots, but he never imagined anyone would actually attempt it. The idea of flying higher than anyone else, of exploring the unknown layers of the atmosphere, made his heart race. "Let's do it," he said firmly. "We can prepare, study the paths, and test our drones. If we succeed, well, it would show what humans can do." Nina smiled, her expression serious and determined. "Exactly. It's not just about the flight. It's about proving that humans can reach beyond their limits, that we can face challenges no one else dares to try." The storm had passed completely by now, leaving the city glistening under a soft evening glow. Milo and Nina stayed on the rooftop for a while longer, watching the lights reflect on wet surfaces, imagining the adventures that awaited them in the upper skies. As night fell, the city below seemed peaceful, but the rooftop held a sense of possibility. It was a place of courage, creativity, and dreams, and Milo and Nina had only just begun to explore what they could achieve together. When they finally descended, Milo felt a quiet excitement building inside him. Tomorrow, they would begin preparations for their greatest flight yet. But tonight, he simply walked home, thinking of the storm, the rooftop, and the moment he realized that when humans work together, even the impossible can be within reach. And somewhere above the clouds, the skyward gates waited, challenging the brave, the curious, and the determined. Milo and Nina were ready to answer that challenge. The morning sun rose over Navarra, painting the city in shades of gold and orange. From his small workshop, Milo watched the towers glimmer as he prepared for the day. Today was different. Today, he and Nina would begin their preparations for something no one else had ever attempted: the skyward gates. Milo carefully unpacked his tools and drone parts, checking every rotor, every sensor, and every circuit. He wanted everything perfect. His heart beat faster with excitement and nervousness. The skyward gates were rumored to be dangerous, with strong winds, narrow paths, and unpredictable currents. But Milo didn't feel fear. He felt determination. A soft knock on the workshop door made him look up. Nina entered, carrying her own set of tools and equipment. She smiled at him. "Ready?" she asked. "As ready as I can be," Milo replied. "I've been thinking about the paths we'll take. If we map the currents and adjust the drones, we can navigate the gates safely." Nina nodded. "I've studied the old charts and data from other pilots. Most people fail because they try to rush. We'll go slowly, carefully, and watch each other's backs." For hours, they worked together, repairing drones, testing sensors, and programming flight routes. Milo showed Nina a new stabilizer he had designed, which would help the drones resist sudden gusts of wind. Nina demonstrated a technique for quick turns and evasive maneuvers. "This will help if we face strong currents or obstacles," she said. "We have to be ready for anything." By late afternoon, their drones were ready, and the rooftop awaited them. Milo and Nina carried their equipment up the elevator, stepping out onto the windswept heights. From here, the city looked like a miniature model, lights reflecting in puddles left from last night's storm. "Are you nervous?" Nina asked, adjusting her gloves. "A little," Milo admitted, smiling. "But mostly excited. I can't wait to see what's up there." They launched their drones into the sky. Milo's drone hovered steadily, while Nina swooped and glided with graceful precision. They practiced following each other, moving in sync, learning to anticipate the others' moves. The wind pushed against them, but their preparation paid off. They navigated it skillfully. "Good," Nina said. "We're ready." As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the city, Milo and Nina decided to take their first step toward the skyward gates. They climbed into their small flight suits, fitted with compact jet boosters and communication devices. The thrill of stepping into the unknown made Milo's heart race. "Remember," Nina said, "we go slowly. We watch each other. We don't take unnecessary risks." "I know," Milo replied, checking his controls one last time. With a push, they lifted off the rooftop, soaring above the city. The wind was strong, but the boosters kept them steady. They navigated between towers, using the lessons from their drones to stay balanced and coordinated. Below them, the streets seemed distant and quiet, the people unaware of the two brave pilots testing their limits high above. As they approached the first path of the skyward gates, a narrow corridor of clouds stretched upward, lit by faint beams of sunlight. Milo felt a surge of awe. He had seen the city from above countless times, but this was different. This was uncharted territory. "Stay close," Nina said. "We can handle this together." They entered the path, moving carefully. The air currents twisted and shifted, but Milo adjusted his boosters, and Nina mirrored his movements. Together, they moved like one, guiding each other through tight turns and sudden gusts. For a moment, it felt like the world had disappeared. There was only the sky, the clouds, and their determination. Milo realized how much he trusted Nina, not just as a fellow pilot, but as a partner in facing the unknown. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, they reached a small plateau within the skyward gates, a calm area where the winds were gentle. They hovered there, catching their breath, hearts racing, eyes wide with excitement. "We did it," Milo said, smiling. Nina nodded, equally thrilled. "This is only the beginning. There's more above us, and we'll explore it step by step. Humanity can do incredible things if we try." They rested for a few minutes, observing the clouds below and the vast sky above. It was beautiful, silent, and endless, a reminder that the world was much larger than the city they had left behind. As they began their descent back to the rooftop, Milo felt a mix of relief and anticipation. They had succeeded in their first attempt, but the journey ahead was full of challenges. Yet, he knew one thing for sure: with Nina by his side, there was no limit to what they could achieve. The city of Navarro welcomed them back with glowing lights and distant hums of life. Milo and Nina touched down safely, hearts still racing, minds already planning the next flight. The skyward gates had tested them, and they had passed. Above the rooftops, above the city, a new adventure awaited. And Milo and Nina were ready to reach higher than anyone else, showing the world what humanity could do when courage, skill, and passion united. The morning air was crisp and clear as Milo and Nina stepped onto the rooftop. After their first successful flight through the skyward gates, both felt a mixture of excitement and determination. Today, they would push farther, higher than before. The city below shimmered in the early sunlight, but their eyes were fixed on the clouds above, where the next challenge awaited. Milo carried his upgraded drone, carefully checking the rotors and stabilizers. Nina adjusted her flight suit, testing the boosters one last time. Both were quiet, focused. They didn't need words. Their teamwork had become a natural rhythm, a silent understanding that made them strong together. "Ready?" Nina asked, her voice steady but tinged with excitement. "Ready," Milo replied. They lifted off the rooftop, soaring above the city. The wind was stronger today, and currents shifted unpredictably. Milo's drone followed closely beside him, while Nina's glided smoothly, almost dancing in the air. Together, they weaved between the city's tallest towers, gradually climbing toward the higher paths of the skyward gates. As they rose, the air grew thinner and colder, and the clouds thickened. Visibility dropped, and the faint sunlight barely reached them. Milo's heart raced. This was the true test beyond the comfort of the city, beyond anything they had experienced before. "This is it," Nina said, pointing ahead. The upper corridor. Narrow, tricky, but beautiful. "Let's go slowly and stay close." Milo nodded, adjusting his boosters. They entered the corridor carefully. Clouds swirled around them like living walls, and wind gusts threatened to push them off course. Milo's fingers moved quickly over his controls, stabilizing the drone and guiding it through the turbulent air. Nina mirrored his movements perfectly, her eyes scanning the path ahead. They passed through twisting currents, dodged sudden cloud spikes, and navigated narrow openings that required perfect timing. Every movement had to be precise, a small mistake could send them tumbling into the lower layers. But Milo and Nina worked as one, adjusting and reacting with flawless coordination. After several minutes of tense navigation, they reached a calm area within the upper skyward gates. Here, the clouds glowed softly from the sunlight above, creating a serene, almost magical atmosphere. Milo and Nina hovered, catching their breath, hearts still racing from the challenge they had just faced. "This is incredible," Milo said, looking around. "I've never seen anything like it. It's like another world above the city." Nina nodded, her eyes shining. "It is. And we're the first humans to navigate this far together. Imagine what people will think when they see what we've done." They didn't have time to linger. Ahead, the next corridor of the skyward gates awaited, and it was known for strong winds and unpredictable paths. Milo and Nina shared a determined look, then pressed forward, carefully guiding their drones through the next challenge. Suddenly, a shadow passed overhead. Milo squinted, trying to see through the thick clouds. Another drone appeared, sleek and unlike anything they had ever seen. Its movements were precise, almost mechanical, but there was something different about it, something that suggested it was not human-made. "Look at that," Nina whispered. "It's unusual. Maybe it's an automated patrol drone from the city's testing program or something else." Milo frowned. "Whatever it is, it's fast and very stable. We need to stay focused and keep our distance." They adjusted their flight paths, using their skills and knowledge to move safely around the strange drone. It followed them briefly, but then, as if satisfied with their progress, it disappeared into the clouds. Milo and Nina exhaled, relief mixing with excitement. "That was close," Milo said. "But it also proves that we're capable. We can handle unexpected challenges." Nina smiled. "Exactly. And I think it's a sign. Humanity can face anything when we work together." They continued through the corridor, moving higher into the upper layers of the skyward gates. The clouds thinned, revealing glimpses of the sky above and the city far below. Milo felt a surge of pride in their courage, their skills, and the determination that had brought them this far. After hours of careful navigation, they finally reached a plateau where the wind was calm and the view was breathtaking. The city lay far below, glowing in the evening light, and the endless sky stretched above them, vast and inviting. Milo and Nina hovered side by side, their drones resting beside them. "We did it," Milo said softly. "We've gone farther than anyone else." Nina nodded. And we'll go even farther. There's more to explore, more to learn. Humanity can reach the skies and beyond if we keep trying. As they began their descent back to the rooftop, Milo felt a deep sense of achievement. Today had been more than a flight, it had been a lesson in trust, teamwork, and courage. Above the city, the skyward gates had tested them, and they had passed. Back on the rooftop, Milo and Nina looked at each other and smiled. They knew their journey was only beginning. Together, they would continue to push the limits of what humans could achieve, showing the world that courage, skill, and passion could take them to heights no one had imagined. The sky above Navarra had never seemed so vast. Milo and Nina stood on the rooftop, drones beside them, looking up at the high layers of clouds where the skyward gates continued to stretch into the unknown. Their last flight had taken them farther than anyone else, but both felt a deep sense of curiosity. What lay beyond the upper gates? What challenges awaited them? Are you ready for today? Nina asked, her eyes bright with determination. I am, Milo replied, adjusting his gloves. We've learned a lot already, but I have a feeling we're about to face something unexpected. They lifted off, soaring above the city. The air was cooler here, and the clouds swirled like rivers of mist. Milo guided his drone carefully, while Nina maneuvered hers with precision. They moved in perfect harmony, trusting each other to adjust to sudden gusts and tight spaces. As they climbed higher, the sunlight became weaker, filtered through thick layers of clouds. Milo noticed faint trails of light weaving through the mist, unlike anything he had seen before. Look at that, he said, pointing. Those lights, they aren't part of the city. They're moving on their own. Nina leaned closer to her controls, scanning the patterns. They could be automated drones, maybe testing equipment from above the city. Or, something else. We need to stay alert. As they approached the source, Milo and Nina realized the lights were part of a complex aerial system, like a network of invisible pathways. The currents shifted unpredictably around them, making navigation tricky. Every move had to be calculated. One wrong turn, and they could be caught in turbulence or swept off course. This is going to test us, Nina said. But I think we can handle it. Together. Milo nodded. They entered the network carefully, guiding their drones along invisible paths, feeling the currents and responding instantly. Each twist and turn required full attention, and for a while, it seemed the sky itself was alive, challenging them to keep moving forward. Suddenly, one of the streams of light shifted sharply. Milo's drone wobbled, nearly losing balance. Nina reacted instantly, guiding hers to steady him. Careful, she shouted over the hum of the boosters. It's stronger than before. Milo adjusted the stabilizers, focusing on every sensor. Slowly, carefully, they passed through the turbulent section. The network of lights faded behind them, revealing a calm, open area above the clouds. Milo and Nina hovered for a moment, catching their breath. The view was breathtaking. Layers of clouds stretched endlessly, glowing faintly from the sunlight above. Far below, the city sparkled like a miniature world, and Milo felt a deep sense of pride and awe. We did it, Milo whispered. We made it through the challenge. Nina nodded, smiling. And this proves that humans can adapt, learn, and overcome anything. Our skills, our teamwork, it's what makes us strong. They decided to explore the calm area, testing their drone's limits. Milo guided his drone in tight loops and dives, while Nina performed precise maneuvers beside him. Each movement was perfect, a demonstration of how far they had come since their first rooftop flights. After a while, they noticed small, distant shapes moving through the clouds, other drones, but unlike any they had seen before. These machines moved in patterns that suggested intelligence, almost as if they were observing the two humans. Milo frowned. Who could have sent these? He asked. The city's programs don't usually go this high. Nina shook her head. I don't know. But it's a reminder, the upper skies are full of unknowns. We have to be careful, but we also have to keep exploring. For the next hour, they tested their skills, practicing rapid turns, altitude changes, and coordination. The strange drones followed briefly but did not interfere, and Milo and Nina felt a growing confidence. They had learned to adapt, to think quickly, and to trust each other completely. As the sun began to set, painting the clouds in pink and orange, Milo and Nina began their descent back to the rooftop. They had faced unknown challenges, navigated unpredictable currents, and proved that human courage and intelligence could meet any obstacle. Back on the rooftop, they set their drones down and leaned against the railing, watching the city lights appear below. Milo smiled at Nina. Today was incredible, he said. We faced something new, and we handled it. Humanity can achieve so much if we keep pushing our limits. Nina nodded, her expression serious but happy. And this is only the beginning. There are more layers to explore, more challenges to face. But I know we can do it together. As night fell over Nevera, the rooftop felt alive with possibilities. Above the clouds, the skyward gates continued, waiting for those brave enough to explore them. Milo and Nina had proven their skills, their courage, and their partnership. And now, they were ready for the next step in their journey, showing the world that humanity's passion and determination could reach heights no one had imagined. The night was calm over Nevera, the city lights twinkling like stars below. Milo and Nina stood on the rooftop, their drones packed and ready. Today was different. Today, they would attempt their boldest flight yet, the full path of the skyward gates, reaching higher than any human had ever gone. Both felt a mixture of excitement, determination, and a little nervousness. Milo checked his controls carefully, adjusting every sensor and rotor. Nina followed the same routine, her eyes scanning the sky above. They had prepared for weeks, studying currents, mapping pathways, and testing their equipment. Nothing could be left to chance. Ready? Nina asked, her voice steady but full of energy. As ready as I'll ever be, Milo replied, a smile crossing his face. They lifted off together, gliding above the city. The familiar towers fell away below them, replaced by thick clouds that shimmered faintly in the moonlight. Their drones hovered nearby, ready to support them if anything went wrong. As they climbed, the air grew thinner, and the wind currents became unpredictable. Milo adjusted his boosters carefully, while Nina maneuvered with precise control. Every movement required focus, but they had become experts at navigating the skyward gates. Their teamwork was perfect, each anticipating the other's actions without a word. They entered the upper corridor, where clouds swirled like rivers of silver. Lightning flashed in the distance, not dangerous but beautiful, illuminating the endless sky. Milo felt a surge of awe. He had never imagined the world could look like this. This is amazing, he said softly. It feels like we're above the world entirely. Nina smiled. And we're showing that humans can reach beyond their limits. Nothing can stop us if we work together. Suddenly, a new challenge appeared. From the clouds, a series of strong wind currents twisted and surged unpredictably. Milo's drone wobbled as the gusts pushed it sideways. Nina reacted instantly, guiding hers to stabilize both drones. Careful, she shouted over the roar of the wind. We need to time our movements perfectly. Milo nodded, adjusting his boosters and sensors. Together, they navigated the twisting currents, moving with precision and coordination. It was the most difficult part of their journey yet, testing every skill they had learned. But they didn't falter. Step by step, they passed through the turbulence, emerging into calmer air above the clouds. And then they saw it. Far ahead, a faint structure glowed softly in the moonlight. It looked like a platform, suspended in the sky, with patterns of lights that shifted and moved. Milo's eyes widened. Could it be a human-made station? Or something else entirely? Nina studied it carefully. I don't know. But it's real. And it's within our reach. Let's approach slowly. They guided their drones closer, staying alert as the air currents twisted around them. The structure was unlike anything Milo had seen. Its surface was smooth and metallic, glowing faintly, and it seemed almost alive, responding to their movements. This is incredible, Milo whispered. We're the first humans to see it. Imagine what people will think when we report this. Nina nodded, eyes shining. It proves humanity can explore beyond the known. We've reached heights no one else has dared to go. They hovered near the structure for several minutes, observing it carefully. The drones scanned the surface, sending back data to their devices. Every moment felt like a discovery, a reminder that curiosity and courage could reveal wonders hidden from the world. As they began their descent, Milo felt a mix of pride and excitement. They had not only completed their boldest flight yet but also discovered something that could inspire generations. Humanity's courage, intelligence, and teamwork had carried them higher than ever before. Back on the rooftop, Milo and Nina set their drones down and looked at each other. The city stretched below them, peaceful and unaware of the achievements above. Milo smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. We did it, he said. We reached the highest point yet, and we found something extraordinary. Nina nodded. And this is only the beginning. There are more skies to explore, more challenges to face. Humanity can reach anything if we keep trying, if we never give up. The night air was cool, and the lights of Navarra twinkled like stars beneath them. Milo and Nina knew that their journey had changed them. They had proven that humans could achieve incredible feats, that passion, courage, and teamwork could overcome any obstacle. Above the rooftops, the skyward gates stretched endlessly, waiting for those brave enough to explore them. And Milo and Nina, side by side, had shown that humanity's spirit could reach heights no one had imagined. As they descended the elevator, both felt a quiet excitement. The world below was the same, but everything had changed. They had touched the sky, discovered something new, and proven that humans could achieve greatness together. The morning light spilled over Navarra, painting the city in soft shades of gold. From the rooftop, Milo and Nina watched the bustling streets below, their hearts still racing from their most recent flight through the skyward gates. Today was not about exploring the clouds or testing drones. Today was about returning to the city with their discovery and sharing what humanity could achieve. Milo adjusted his drone one last time, checking every rotor and sensor. Nina did the same, her expression calm but full of excitement. They had pushed themselves higher than anyone before, navigated strong winds, and discovered the mysterious floating structure above the clouds. Now, it was time to show that humans could reach the sky and beyond. Ready? Milo asked. Always, Nina replied with a smile. They lifted off together, soaring above Navarra. The city seemed smaller from this height, its towers like tiny models beneath the glowing sunlight. People below moved through the streets, unaware of the two humans flying high above them. Milo felt a sense of pride. Every flight, every challenge, had led to this moment. As they descended, memories of their journey filled his mind. The first rooftop flights, the storm, the first paths through the skyward gates, and the mysterious drones they had faced it all together. Each challenge had strengthened their skills, their courage, and their trust in one another. When they reached the city's central observation tower, a crowd had already gathered. News had spread quickly about their daring flights. Engineers, pilots, and citizens looked up in awe as Milo and Nina descended safely onto the rooftop. Cheers and applause greeted them, echoing against the city towers. Milo and Nina stepped out of their flight suits, smiling at the crowd. For a moment, there was silence, then a wave of excitement and admiration filled the air. People wanted to hear their story, see their drones, and understand what it meant for humanity's future. One of the city officials stepped forward, clapping. Milo, Nina, you have done what no human has ever done. You've reached heights no one thought possible and proven that courage, skill, and teamwork can achieve the impossible. Milo smiled humbly. We only did what anyone could do with enough determination and preparation. Humanity has always been curious, brave, and inventive. We just followed that path a little higher than before. Nina nodded. The skyward gates are more than just a challenge. They show that there are no limits if we work together and trust our abilities. We hope this inspires others to explore, to learn, and to push beyond what they think is possible. The crowd cheered again, and Milo and Nina felt a deep sense of accomplishment. It wasn't just about their flight, it was about what it represented for everyone. Humans could reach higher, achieve more, and explore the unknown. The city of Navarra, and perhaps the world, had witnessed a new chapter in human courage. Later, Milo and Nina returned to their workshop, unpacking the drones and reviewing the data from their flights. Every detail was recorded: the currents, the paths, the mysterious floating structure above the clouds. The data would help future pilots, engineers, and explorers understand the skyward gates and continue pushing the boundaries of human achievement. I never imagined it would feel this good, Milo said, leaning back in his chair. We actually did it. We proved that humans can reach above the clouds, beyond the known limits. Nina smiled, looking out the window at the city below. And we'll keep going. There are more skies to explore, more discoveries to make. Today is just one step in humanity's journey. As night fell, Milo and Nina returned to the rooftop. The city lights twinkled like stars, and the skyward gates stretched above them, endless and inviting. They stood side by side, looking up at the clouds and the mysterious structure they had discovered. Do you think anyone else will try this? Milo asked. Definitely, Nina replied. And we'll be ready to guide them, teach them, and inspire them. Humanity is capable of amazing things. We've only just begun. For a moment, the city felt silent, as if holding its breath. Milo and Nina smiled at each other, knowing they had changed something. They had shown the world that courage, curiosity, and teamwork could achieve the impossible. The rooftop, once a quiet escape, had become a symbol, a place of ambition, discovery, and dreams. And as Milo and Nina looked at the endless sky above, they knew that the adventure was far from over. The skyward gates awaited, and so did countless other challenges. Humanity was ready to reach for them. Hand in hand, Milo and Nina turned to descend back into the city, hearts full of pride, minds full of dreams, and spirits ready to soar higher than ever before. Above them, the sky was endless, waiting for those who dared to try. And in that moment, it was clear, humanity's passion, courage and determination could touch the clouds, the stars, and beyond.